Hello my friends and welcome to a first impressions video of Battle Brothers. Battle Brothers has been recommended to me by you guys on my Patreon, and I thought I would just do a first impressions video of it, because why not get a good first impressions of the game before any potential campaign gets done. Why not just drop into the game and have a look around and see what it's like. So I've actually I'm going to turn the music down a little bit because I think it's a little bit loud. It always is on title screens. I've had a quick look around the game. I probably played for like 2 or 3 hours. So I just selected the first scenario that's not the tutorial. Put a random crisis on. Battle Brothers! There are 4 lights, there are many fights. See? I like it. Whoa, what was that? Oh yeah, that's disturbing. Let's go with that. So here's the funny thing. So let's just put this on expert. The difficulty levels are about 33% different, I think, roughly. So, for example, if you start on beginner, you have 2,900 gold, and if you start on expert, you have 2,000 gold. So that's the difference of about a third. But anyway, this is not really what I wanted to talk about. It's the game sells itself as a really hard game, and I love hard games, as you guys know. And often these kind of games, they have a lot of achievements for Iron Man only. And so, to me, Iron Man doesn't change the actual innate difficulty of the game that much. So if you're really good at a game, whether you have Iron Man on or not, it doesn't matter, because you win fights consistently, and therefore it's not a problem. So for example, I put Iron Man on Battletech, and it makes no difference whatsoever, because generally speaking, I don't run into any trouble. It doesn't in any way actually change the difficulty of the fights, it just means that you have to accept what happens. Now, a lot of games that encourage Iron Man, they do so because they have a lot of really harsh RNG in them. Which means that even, say, the best player in the world might lose early on. Often once you get established, then it's not a problem. And it's funny because I was sort of scoping out the community around Battle Brothers just to get a feel for the game and you know, what strategies people are using and all that kind of stuff before I sat down in front of it. Any things that I should be aware of. And there's like 100 guides to getting started, and almost no guides to the late game, which kind of indicates to me, and I've replicated this in my 3 hours of playing the game, as it were, before I sat down to record my first impressions, that the beginning of the game is the hardest part, because there is a lot of RNG in the game, which some of you will love, you know. People love casinos, right? People love card games and stuff like that, although people would say that card games, you know, have a lot of strategy as well as luck in them. And the same will be true for this game, I think. And I'll show you why I feel that way, just as a first impressions of the game. Okay, so here's my company. You always start next to a village. You always start with 3 dudes, at least on the basic scenario, which we can see here. And they have reasonably nice equipment, but there is some RNG behind them. Some stuff is fixed. So what I will do is, first things first, I'm going to quickly just turn the music down. I like the music, but it's not. I'll turn it down even more. Okay. The music's not very conducive to me talking to you guys. So, so let's go to the first town, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so we're at the first town. And what you want to do is, obviously, you start with 3 dudes with some gear. Okay? That they've just been given. And I think you roughly always start with one guy who's good at ranged, one guy who's good at melee, and not much else. Your guy who's good at ranged, you might as well just leave him with his crossbow that he starts with, and stick him in the back row for now. But the rest of these dudes, the stats are somewhat random. So this guy is really good at melee, it would seem. This guy is just not particularly good at anything. He just seems to have a lot of HP. This guy does not even have any special traits. So yeah, so the first thing that you want to do in any game like this is to sit in front of wherever the shop is, hire dudes and equip them, which is fair enough. But you know, what you'll note here is, you know, what's in the marketplace is totally random. See, I'm lucky this time, there's a bow in the marketplace. But it doesn't look like there's any quivers. So you need a bow and a quiver to actually use a bow. And you can see here that there's actually a number of damaged shields here that might be useful, because we can just repair them. So I'm just going to buy some of these shields here, and there's some knives that are cheap. Because when you hire some dudes, they're not going to have any gear. Well, sometimes they'll have gear, but a lot of the cheaper guys have not got any gear. And it's totally random. From their profession, you can sort of know how, like, there's some level of knowing what they're going to be like based on their profession. Like, beggars are not going to be very good. You know, historians are not going to be that great in combat. Fishermen might be okay. You know, the guy who's a cripple is is that he's going to be bad. But you might just want some meat on your front line. And so your beginning is going to be determined a lot by what you can get your hands on early. Like, none of these are particularly great. Rudolph the Fisherman here is probably worth a purchase. You know, the beggar is cheap and will be okay. I mean, I presume he'll be okay. We don't actually know whether he'll be okay or not. Thief. You know, early on you probably want to get your hands on a poacher, so you can have a second bowman. But so I've not been given the opportunity here to get a second bowman. There's a bow which I could purchase, but there's no quiver, and there's no there's not necessarily anyone who's actually that useful. Well, let's go with a grave robber, and I'm going to try and get at least a few guys on the go. We'll take the cripple just to have someone who's meat on the front line. So, This dude is effectively naked. So no point in having good armor on your archer, because he's not going to be on the front line, so that's, you know, it's pointless to do that. Okay, he has a fear of beasts. That's okay. Ironically, he actually has really good stars. So stars mean that stats will grow faster. And the funny part here is that this dude, you know, despite being a cripple, he's actually got stars in ranged defense, ranged attack, and melee defense, and thus could potentially, although he has somewhat low HP, he could potentially serve as an early game archer for me. Simply because he's got archery as a top skill. Okay, so this guy's melee stats are pretty good, or they're all right. So let's sort this guy out with some good gear. All right, and yeah, so all of this is random. You know, which characters you have available to buy, what their stats are going to be, it's all random. What weapons and items you can get will be random. What contracts you can take early are random. And so depending on your start, a lot of your campaign is going to be determined by the beginning. More than anything. You get good contracts and find nice gear early on, or at least, you know, gear that you can use. You're going to have an easier time, which then snowballs into an easier time as the game goes on. And then I've heard, I don't know, because I've just read through the Reddit of Battle Brothers, that the game mostly revolves around finding legendary named items that are like really cool and sexy and so on and so forth. All right, this guy is very good in melee. Although he has no special growth in it, but he does have special growth in hit points. He's actually got a pretty good melee defense, despite the fact that he's got no special growth in that either. So let's wall this guy up. And what we'll probably do is put the tanky guys on the edges, just to protect the less tanky characters. Although, you know, they tend to be good characters, so you don't want to lose them, but... Okay, so this guy has actually got growth in the 2 archer stats, but not particularly great. And he is also apparently Spartan, which means he's going to use less resources, which is good. So, another dude that could potentially grow into an archer if I had the equipment. He's probably fine as he is. Let's just stick that on him as well. Good melee growth and good fatigue growth. So let's put the axe on this dude. Just the axe it requires a lot of action points to swing it, and a lot of fatigue to swing it. So kind of makes sense. Although his fatigue currently is actually quite low at 65, but it would grow. Jesus, this guy's got 103 in fatigue. The man never tires, and his hit points grow like crazy. But sadly, he's got no combat growth, so that's going to be difficult. Oh, but he has a innate +5 to melee skill, so that's quite good. But his gear is not that great. Alright, our poor cripple is going to stand by. Let's give the guy with the axe the old shanking tool. Just because the axe is actually... it requires so many action points to swing it that sometimes it might be better to pull your knife out and actually just go for somebody. Okay, so we could spend more money now, furthering our guys, but I don't know if there's much point. A lot of this run that I'm playing right now is going to be determined on this contract. Whether it's an easy or difficult contract, whether I can get, you know, favor in this town off of this contract, etc. Okay, he wants me to find something. Find the sepulchre of the restless. It's probably not what we wanted. A lot of the advice says that what you really want is to be able to smack down bandits. To the northeast. In the region of Dunspike. Which I can't even... oh, time is passing. You don't want to pass time while you're looking around. I don't even see it. Dunspike. It's not going to be miles away up here, is it? Surely that's a big ask for a first mission. It's not over here because this is not east. I guess it's up here. It must be. So let's go. Maybe we'll find some bandits. So basically, you just want to find bandits early on, and I'll so you can steal some of their gear, and they tend to drop gold and provisions and all that kind of thing. But yeah, this is a horrible mission to begin with. Probably would have been better off going to the next town actually, and trying my luck there. But there's some stuff I want to talk about in battles. And so, in order to talk about that, I need to actually find a battle and be in it. Is it up here somewhere? Traveling through the forest at night. This is a great idea. That was me being... somewhat sarcastic. Oh. This is a thing where it's like you have a personal objective to do. Not too far from the south of here on the hills. Okay, thanks, buddy. I guess I got a warning that I was going too far in the wrong direction. Ooh, dire wolves, let's avoid that. Ah, don't go that way. Now the funny part is, I just instinctively avoided. I just instinctively avoided the. Let's go to this town actually. I can then return to. How would you pronounce that? Typhonstalt? We can return there using the roads. Oh look, the direwolves are wandering around. Yeah, so I don't know how dangerous direwolves are, and there's no way to find out unless you fought them before. What do we got? A miner, a killer on the run, and a monk. Alright, well, I guess we got more bodies from my front line. I'll do. Okay, let's go. Trust me to find the one quest that doesn't involve any fighting. Yeah, so I was going to say, you know, when you find a battle, you're not really given any tools to assess the battle apart from your own knowledge of the game itself, which some of you might really like. But you know, it's a turn-based game, so I see. Look, brigands, 8 brigands. I could probably take them, but there would be casualties. Well, there's no point in. Well, I wouldn't say there's no point in fighting them when there's no reward on offer. You're just early on. You're just trying to get enough experience points to actually get some of your guys to like level 2 or 3. It's gonna make your life a little bit easier. Okay. Alright, brigands, this is what we wanted. $300 crowns. So I'm just accepting the offers because it improves your reputation in the town, and that means that you're going to get more interesting dudes and better gear in the store. Eventually. You can see that we've already had some restocking here. Refugee. Wow, he's cheap. Sure thing. More meat from my grinder. Alright, let's leave it for now. Okay, where are the... Alright, they're down there. So this is what I mean, right? So we're heading to combat now. And there's... We can't in any way see what the strength of the enemy is. Until we're actually literally on top of the enemy. Until we're literally in a fight. Let's get clubbing. He has terrible resolve, but he has massive growth in resolve, so you could fix him. And he's actually 57 in melee is actually not terrible. Can't believe this cripple has got so many like super growth, super growth stats. It's quite impressive, really. I mean, I presume that when I path, I'm like, it picks the shortest path to get me where I want to go. Oh, I can just cross the river. Okay, it's interesting. It's not even the river, it's the sea. I guess it's not that deep at that point. Many brigand thugs. See, this is what I mean. Now, I've had a look at the modding community for this game. Because, you know, this game interests me and I want to learn about it. It looks very good. But a lot of mods, all they do is just put information in the game that perhaps should already be there. So, here it says many brigand thugs. Now, this is a range. So if it says like a thug, there's 1. And if it says some, I think there's like 2 to 6. And it says many, so I presume that many is something like 6 to 9 or something along those lines, but you can't know until you actually engage. But a lot of these mods, they just add text that says, you know, exactly how many it is. You know, you have all this different terrain types here, which is very cool. So, you know, we've got murky water and grass and so on. Which is really badly affecting my ability to fight. Okay. So, you can see here that the enemy here is actually reasonably well equipped compared to me. Shields and flails and all kinds of nice things. I do, however, heavily outnumber them. So what I want to do is, I want to actually get out of this water ASAP. Murky water, that's earth. Grass, earth. I need to go down. Okay, this guy's fine. Skip his turn. This guy's an archer, so let's skip his turn until someone gets a little bit closer. Okay, that guy's on solid ground. Oh, there's more of them. Can you move more? Yeah. Okay. But yeah, you can't see anything about these guys apart from what equipment they're wearing. Murky water. Can't stand on the tree tile. In fact, stay back there. 42% chance to hit. 39. 54 despite the angle. That's a miss. Okay. As soon as is possible, we need to get out of the swampland and onto solid ground, because that 25% decrease to capability is going to be very painful. Alright. 46. He's got a shield, so he might be a pain in the ass to actually hit and do damage to, but we'll try. Swamp does not affect ranged attack, so that's okay. Oh man, that guy's in so much trouble. I was gonna spear wall here, but instead I guess I'm just gonna attack this guy. Oh, 82% and I missed. So you can feel the RNG already. I've missed two 50s and an 82. So that's pretty bad, just to begin with. Okay, stay where you are. Axe in 5 turns, huh? So, let's see if we can puncture this guy to death. 36% chance to hit, that's not so good. 50, miss. Alright. So I've taken about 7 hits, all above 50, and I've only landed 2. I could move in to attack this guy, but I'm not going to. Alright, I managed to escape his zone of control without getting hit. Nice hit. Let's see if we could net some of these boys. You can just sit there for me, please. Now I could move in here and attack, but the risk, of course, is that then he gets surrounded on bad terrain. %. Okay, let's try and actually get this job done, shall we? Nice. Alright, that guy's morale just took a crash course. Time for you to be somewhere else. That's a miss. 51% is not bad. I am missing a lot here. And this is what I mean, like in the early game, there's a lot of RNG going on. I'm keeping some guys back because my front line has got some really garbage characters on it who, you know, potentially will be killed. And so I just want another dude to just run in there and fill the spot. Oh, that meat cleaver, I can just hear it. Okay. Let's see. So, you know, once again, I could move in here. These guys are all really tired. I think because this guy is exhausted, I'm probably okay to move in here. Probably. I am taking a risk. Alright, let's go. Oh, how many misses am I going to get? Come on. Nice. It was a bit risky of me to do that, but... See, I didn't kill him, though. This is the only thing. Oh, lovely hit. $63. Hey! Yay! Right in the Vincent van Gogh. Well, this is going really well, despite the fact that I've been missing like crazy. This is what Zoe. This game looks like it's got real strategic depth to it. Like it looks really interesting, and I can't wait to play more of it. But also, there is a massive RNG element to it, which I think, you know, RNG is like Marmite for some people. You love it or you hate it. It does not always feel good to be RNG'd to death. Ooh, nice hit. Wow, the AI is having even more trouble than I am. I got this guy totally, completely and utterly surrounded. Alright, get out of the swamp. And stand by. Alright, my cripple died. That's okay. See, another 67 miss. I'm missing so many potentially easy or easy-ish hits here. And the loss of that one dude has actually caused a little bit of morale failure here. Alright, stand by to fill in. Nice hit. This guy has hung on. Okay, now he's dead. Let the surrounding continue. Okay, this guy has actually got no armor left. So he makes for easy stabbing. Reloading! Don't have a clean shot, my lord. Stand by. Oof. He is trying to flee. That will not be allowed. This guy does not have a weapon. I thought he did. Alright, what happened there? He actually got injured on his turn. Or it looked like it. I guess I'm going to have to move my archer over here. Alright, this guy is actually, because he's on the retreat, he has no zone of control. So I can do as I wish. Oh, 74 missed. That's better. Oh, nice shot. Finally. I've kind of struggled to get nice shots. Alright. Bad times for you. Alright, this guy is now in full retreat. Oh, I just broke his jaw, I think. Okay, he can't move. Alright. So this has become a very messy battle, but I've actually not... I've only taken one casualty, which is not so bad. Alright, this guy's now in full retreat. So we've won now. They are retreating. They've had enough of my nonsense. I don't have to wait. I don't have to waste crossbow ammunition on these fools. The issue with the axe is you can never move it and swing. You can never move with it and swing. It's a weapon that has real trouble because of its massive cost. Hey! It's also sort of RNG. They took damage there. It's also sort of RNG what armor and such you'll get from the battle. So if you kill someone without destroying their armor, then you're way more likely to get the armor than if you kill someone and you've smashed your way through their armor to kill them. But early on in the game, it's quite difficult to actually steal equipment by killing people efficiently. You just want to kill people and not take injuries. Or not lose people. .6 AP to use and builds up 15 fatigue, so why can't I use it? I'm too fatigued. I guess I just need to rest. Now, I should run this guy down here to get his items. But I am a little bit concerned that one of my characters is going to bleed to death before I do it. Ah, never mind. We got him. Partially collapsed lung. Oh, right, so he's ruined forever. But, I mean, he's the maimed anyway. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I didn't actually lose anyone. I thought I lost one person. Alright, beer. Sweet, sweet beer. And some arrows. So, we've completed our first mission. This is on hardest difficulty, but I don't really feel like the difficulty levels actually make the hugest difference to this game, if you ask me. But let's just take their weapons. We're not getting paid for killing them. But give me their tools. Alright. So our first mission was a glorious success. And I got quite lucky here. I just picked a seed at random and in terms of that fight was actually pretty solid for me. Okay, a bludgeon is better than no bludgeons. A buckler is better than no shield at all. Butcher's cleaver is actually a better weapon than the knife, but the knife can pierce enemies, which is a great way to get gear. I think early on, keep the knives for, you know, in the future. Trying to steal gear, you'll pull out your knives and try and shank somebody. Like a glorious prison fight. I'm really not a fan of the axe. I realise it's a great weapon, potentially, but the sheer cost of using it fatigue-wise early on seems to be quite difficult to be effective. This guy also has a spare knife, which I put on him because he was running the axe. A flail. I mean, at least it's a real weapon. It's actually a pretty solid weapon. No one leveled up, sadly. A lot of what you do or must be about is just surviving to the point that people actually level. We'll just put our injured guys in reserve for now. I don't think it really makes a huge difference, but... Okay, it's a wooden stick. Oh, I guess someone might as well have the axe. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's fun. I beat those guys. I just maneuvered them into a position where they could only filter through. Like there was a tree and an island of land, and they had to go around the tree and basically be pressed into swamp positions where I could then beat the toffee out of them. And that worked out quite nicely for me. Now we must return to base. But there's no real road, which is annoying, so... Looks like we're going to cut through a lot of forest and so on to get back to where we need to be. We found some extra provisions, so that's good. Obviously the tools are being used to repair the gear that we have that's damaged. If you don't want gear to be repaired, if you're done with it, you can just leave it in your inventory and it won't be fixed. Hey! 300 crowns and no longer has ambushed trades routes. Which means, so this is a 2-skull mission here, which we should avoid like the plague, because we're not ready for that. It means that the marketplace is now going to be that much sweeter. Except it's not. Except it really isn't. It doesn't really look that much better to me. However, we are getting a very nice discount on gear here. Like, tools are only costing us 241 here. It's only a small markup. I think that's only a small markup. I'm not like 100% on it, but... provisions and things that we don't need right now. There's a wooden shield which might be helpful. Okay. I don't think there's much we want to do here, actually, to be fair. I don't think this town actually likes us yet, no. Relations open, neutral, not friendly. So yeah, now we need to shuffle over to the next town in pursuit of some contracts that we can actually do. Yeah, it looks to be like a really fun game. I think I could really get into it. There's a lot of positives here, but I must admit the RNG elements of it lead me to concern. Uh-oh. Ugh. Do I really want to deal with that right now? Ah, what the hell, we won't be, Oh no, look, there's a brigand raider there. Many thugs, plus a raider. At least it does say 8. So we're looking at 8 dudes. I do outnumber them, but the raider might be very well equipped. I could find myself in real trouble this early on in the game. And this is what I mean by RNG as well. This kind of stuff just happens. There is a guard tower here though. I think the garrison will take them down. For me. I hope the garrison will take them down for me. Oh, they're coming all the way back to the village. Okay. They followed me all the way back to the village, and the village has not stopped them. Yeah, these guys are reasonably well armed here, especially him. So what you can do is you can just run. I mean, I don't believe they particularly have any faster speed than you do. Of course, if you get caught in a bottleneck, then that's a problem. Yeah, he can't move from this position. Down one's probably the best idea here. Alright, there's the retreat line. Now I'm caught. Caught by the one dude who lagged behind a little bit. Oh, instantly killed. So you can immediately see that you are, you can be horrendously outmatched right in the early game. If I'd have fought these guys, and there was no way of knowing sort of how well equipped they were going to be until you actually got into the fight with them. They could have all had, you know, sackcloth armor and knives for all I knew. But yeah, once you're engaged with them, then you can at least see what equipment they have, if nothing else. You can sort of make a guess based on that. But yeah, in the early game, you can just run into trouble early on very, very easily. Okay, that guy's in the retreat zone. Okay, and I mean, I can't believe they actually followed me all the way back to the village. That's, you know, I find that to be quite odd. Oh, right, we're done here. That's it, we're gone. Nitrich died instantly trying to retreat. Okay, so they just follow me straight through the town and attack me again. So there's no, you can't actually, you can't use the small towns as any kind of defense against enemies that are following you around. And yeah, so this is part of the game which is a bit, you know, perverse. Once you get into a situation like this, there doesn't seem to be many methods in the game that are really obvious, that are just apparent to you, that allow you to deal with it, to escape easily. My only choice really is to run through them and try and go to the other town. Okay, so here I am once again, retreating from a fight which I'm pretty certain I can't win. Unless you could really, like, split the mercs up into bite-sized chunks and take them down that way, but when you're out-geared and none of your guys are higher than level 1, you know that all these enemies are level 1, but none of your guys are any higher than level 1 either. So you have no real advantages over the enemy, unless the terrain really favours you somehow. And that's it, we're out of there. Yeah, look, I can just run through them. At least I can just run through them. So yeah, it's one of these funny things. It's like, I lost a dude there. I had to retreat from them twice. And the real question is, you know, how do you get rid of them? And they're just going to follow you forever. Oh, Orcbane Company, well, they might kill him. There are some NPC units running around on the map. Anyway, this is where we were going to go. We were going to go here anyway. This is what we wanted to do next, to look for the next contract or whatever. But all this running around trying to avoid the enemy has resulted in me running out of provisions. Okay, that'll do. Oh, look, a quiver of arrows. Sweet. I don't have that bow, though. I never bought it in the end. Ha, that's kind of useful. It may not be the greatest. It may not be the greatest weapon on Earth compared to a good bow, but it's ranged, and that counts for something. Okay, so contracts once again. Alright, kill grave robbers. Seems simple to me. How's our team doing? Pierced leg muscle, okay. And this guy's got a partially collapsed lung forever. Alright, it was actually one of our actually decent characters that got killed, I think. Grimwald the Maimed. You know, I'd probably be better off giving this guy the sling. Okay, that's good. We're fine. I don't like the way that when you're done with the village, of course, the game goes back to normal speed. I wish it would stay paused, but I guess it's a minor niggle. Probably a mod for that. There's a mod for that. There's a mod for everything these days. Unknown garrison. Okay, so the grave robbers are dead. It's actually zombies. I think. Who knows? We've not been told. Yeah, it's zombies. Okay, let's see. Do we have any terrain that benefits us? Now, you see, zombies could be a great source of equipment. Because they're not too bright. I think this high ground position is going to be the way forward. Let's go. We'll always act before the zombies, because zombies are slow. And dumb. There's a lot of them. They're also fearless, so that's not so good. Here they come, boys. Stand your ground. That which is dead may still yet burn. Okay. They're not that fast either. Kind of funny that zombies have got weapons. $69, sweet. He's actually got some really interesting armor. Most of these zombies have actually got somewhat interesting armor, which we'll probably not get because we just end up hacking them to bits, but whatever. Oh, come on. 69% chance. Help me out here. Help a brother out. Come on. Hey! That'll do it. Alright, it's begun. Probably should have moved this line back, actually. Alright. Let the killing begin. No. God damn, that armor really took it there. That's fine. Stand by. Good hit. Reload the beast. Cleave the boy. God damn, his armor is really good. I don't know if I can rip his head off. He's got no head armor. Hey! Nice! Okay, I don't think stun is going to work very well on a zombie. Somehow. Come on, kill it. Kill it. Kill the thing. I don't have a good shot on any of these, really, apart from these two. Nice hit. Stand by. Stand by. Come on, finish him. He tried, but failed. Ah, I get speared. Ah, I get speared. Ah, I get speared. I love it. Shame I lost my other spearman. You know, I would have a spearman on both sides, except for the, you know, the whole brigand thing. Okay, that was bad. Okay. Take his head off. Nope. Try again. Cleave the boy. Nope, that didn't work. Oh, the missing is real. And I find games with lots of RNG in the melee. I find that to be really annoying. Alright, that was a good hit. Stand by. Did he just get back up again? Oh, for crying out loud, so many misses. Oh my god, that's like 3 really high hit chance misses in a row. So bad. Nice. Okay, he just walked into the he just walked into a surround. Oof. Another brother has bitten the dust. But you can't keep missing so much and not be punished for it. This is the thing. And therein forever lies the issue. Okay, good hit. Done, 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 done. Come on. 55, missed again. Wow, he's missed like 6 in a row at 50%. And that is going to cost me now. Because you just can't miss so many shots and expect to win or live or not take severe losses. And early in the game, you don't have really good guys who are guaranteed to hit. Nice. Well, the archer is cleaning house. Hey, we actually hit the target. Come on, kill him. Oh, he lived. And that means return fire. Oh, I missed 2 huge hits there. He's back. Yep, so all the missing has now actually started to lead to a cascade failure here, where I'm starting to lose really badly. And I might have done this battle in the exact same way and won it handily. You know, I might not have changed my tactics at all. I just was luckier and I would have won this easily. Now it's going to be a hard fight no matter what. Ugh. Yeah, I think we're just gonna get wrecked here. Okay. So, you know, you'll say to yourself, well, what might I have done better? And the answer will be, I should have rolled better. And it's not really a good answer, is it? I mean, there was no real way for me to know, other than through experience with the mission system, that I would be facing off against a horde of zombies. I had the situation very much under control, and then two key characters here missed really high chance you know, attacks. They missed it over and over and over and over. This guy here, he had a tiny bit of HP and he lived for 2 turns, which resulted in 2 people getting killed. And, you know, all of these problems occur in the early game. I'm sure by the mid and late game, you're going to have really good characters that are always able to land the hits that you need them to land, and thus not have any problems. Run away! It's funny, really. And I have, just before I sort of made this video, I did spend a few days looking around at how other people got started in their campaigns and stuff, and they just know what to avoid, which contracts to avoid, which missions to avoid, and they typically have a good 2 or 3 missions before they you know, they have a good start. Basically, they get rolling off of a good start, and once you're rolling, I think the game becomes a lot easier, no matter what difficulty you're playing on. But obviously, I can't do that now. Like this is a game over state, effectively. And this is the funny thing that sort of this is why I think a lot of people will find this game kind of like Marmite. Is you could save before the mission, have a look at the enemy, and decide whether you're going to do it or not, or just do it for fun, whatever. I could have saved before that mission. In fact, there probably is a save before that mission. I don't know if that's a save before the mission or not, but let's just load it just to see if it is. It might be just after. No, it's just before. So now I could fight this same fight again, using the exact same strategy, not changing my strategy at all, presuming that I get the same map, I would move to the same position and fight the enemies again in the same way as I did. And I might win that fight without taking any losses whatsoever. And it would be totally RNG. If I land the hits that I needed to land, then I would win it. Because I don't think there's a lot of rocket science to the early game. You want to find favourable terrain, or you want to force the enemy onto bad terrain, and you want to try and surround them. The rest is just rolling for hit. But even with there was that one zombie, even though I had a surround on him with like 3 blokes, I missed so many 50 plus, 60 plus % chances to kill him, and I was punished for it. But that's not any fault of mine. I just got a really hugely bad streak of luck there. Probably like a 1%er. And so he lived. Then he killed a guy, and that guy came back as a zombie, and then the battle started to cascade out of control from there because, you know, you lose a guy and then another guy appears, then you start to get into trouble. So yeah, it's one of those things where I myself could probably find myself, and probably many players who play this game on YouTube or whatever, probably find this game to be very frustrating, at least in the early game, because it does feel to me like there's a lot of luck to the early game. The second mission of this sort of first impressions video, where there was some brigands and I lost like 1 dude, that was great. And if I could find 3 more missions exactly like it, I could get my guys up to level 2 or 3, I could put more equipment on them, and then I would be able to more easily and more readily sort of steamroll my way through early contracts and content. And I'd be rolling. And, you know, once you're rolling, I think you're good to go. So, yeah. I think the game has the potential to be really good. But I do worry a little bit about the early game. I think this might be a game that I find a lot more fun and a lot more enjoyable once I've played more of it. Or gotten further into the game. Because in the early game, what I see is a lot of RNG, which is not my cup of tea. But I know some of you guys love TBSs with a bit of Casino Royale in them, so maybe that'll be music to your ears. Oh, you know, a lot of RNG can give a game a lot of replayability as well, but I don't know. I don't know. It's one of them, isn't it? It's a bit of to taste. So anyway, this is Battle Brothers. Yeah, it looks to be quite cool, quite gritty. I think it could be a lot of fun, sort of learning all the enemies and how dangerous they are, and which weapons are good and which ones are bad, and all that kind of thing. The combat seems simple enough, and while I'm sure that when you start getting perks and traits and stuff, there's sort of hidden depths to the combat. Early on, you know, apart from luring the enemy into bad terrain and getting surrounds and making sure that you're on good terrain, it didn't feel to me like there's huge sort of depth in the early game combat. You gotta roll those rolls, I think, and find those bandits, those brigands early, and actually get yourself a load of good gear, because some weapons are just a bit too difficult to use. I mean, I found the woodcutter's axe takes too many action points to use, so you kind of struggle to use it, even though it's got a lot of damage to it. You probably want several archers early on, at least 2, but I couldn't. I found a bow in one town and a quiver in the other, and I should have bought the bow, and then when I got here, then I could, you know, use the quiver and have a second archer. I get the feeling that archers are going to be very important in the mid and late game. You're going to want at least 2 or 3 archers to just constantly harass critical units, pick off key targets, and all that kind of thing. But yeah, so there's a lot to unpack here. I hope you enjoyed my first impressions of Battle Brothers. There might be more of this to come, there might not. I mean, it totally depends on you guys, what you think of it, whether I should play more of it or not. But yeah, interesting. I'm sure it'll be challenging, but I do get the feeling that it's going to be a game that's going to be very hard early. And then once you get established and you've got the equipment and gear and everything rolling in, it's going to get a lot easier. And then you're going to be able to build up resources and buy nice things and buy nice characters and so on. And instead of worrying about keeping your party alive, you're going to be more worrying about phasing out bad characters for better ones and training them up and working them into your ranks and all that kind of thing. Sort of like Battletech, really. But it's a cautionary thumbs up from me, because I feel like the game might be a bit heavy on the RNG, and that might frustrate me in the mid. In the early game especially, and in the mid game, that might become a point of frustration. So, anyway, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this first impressions, and I will see you guys next time.